Music Manic.
3, 2, 1. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
But you're going to hear this episode in November, so happy late Halloween.
Oh, it's October 32nd, actually.
Yeah, well, the
Octo-
upload date is October 33rd, actually.
Yeah, October is going on till the 38th this year, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Her rules, not mine. Anyway, hi, everybody. Welcome to the, I think, 9th episode of Music Manic. I am losing my track on all of these episodes. God, I've made so much. I am your host, Ethan Ahern. You probably already knew that. This is the show where we talk about albums we like. Bada bing, bada boom. Hello, Basement Dweller.
Hi, I'm Basement Dweller.
You're not Eye Drops anymore.
I'm not Eye Drops anymore.
Eye Drops is dead.
Oh my God, rest well. Today, because I couldn't go as what I was gonna go for Halloween, I was gonna go as Ethan as well, but then I couldn't go as Ethan. But we're gonna pretend that I went as Ethan.
Don't worry. In post, I could just add a red beanie to your character. There you go. We can both wear red beanies.
Fire.
There you go. Anyway, so for today's not Halloween special, we are talking about an album that was infamously banned from my ears for the longest time. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father.
It was a good reason anyway.
Holding off peak.
Yeah. Today we are talking about the sophomore album from legendary industrial rock and metal gods, 9 Inch Nails, with The Downward Spiral.
I was very excited for this one.
I've been looking forward.
We're looking quite forward to this
I've been looking forward to this one. I was
getting through the rest of them to get here.
Well, after the clipping episodes, I was just like, oh God, I need to talk about something else. And here we are. We're talking about an album about suicide.
Yay!
So, yippee. I'm going to add a trigger warning at the beginning of the episode.
That's cool.
Because I'm just that guy. But
you are just that guy. That's
yeah.
cool.
But if you didn't watch the episodes, or I can't speak. If you didn't see the warning, I might as well warn you now. This episode, we're covering an album about a man's descent into madness. So if topics involving addiction or suicide or anything like that are sensitive to you, we recommend not watching this episode. Your mental health matters. Don't do anything stupid, please.
Oh God.
Yeah. Please and thank you. We will be back in 2 weeks because we're not doing an episode next week. But anyway, 9 Inch Nails, formed in the 80s. We have the legendary guy himself, Mr. Trent Reznor, as pretty much just the sole member for most of 9 Inch Nails' discography, including this record. He pretty much does everything except for drums, I think. I think drums were done by, I can't remember his name from the top of my head. Alan Molker. Wait, I have the liner notes. I will put a picture on screen. I brought my cassette tape with me because it has notes. Drums.
This is hype drummer gameplay.
This is, yeah.
I like the drummers of a band.
Chris Vrenna. Vrenna. He did the drums.
His name is not Alan.
It's not Alan. No, I was thinking of the producer for the record Flood. Yeah.
That's cool.
Oops. Anyway, 9 Inch Nails, they're awesome. I'm just going to be for real with you. I love almost all of the records. Pretty Hate Machine, their debut, or I guess Trent's debut, I should say. Very great synth pop, heavy Depeche Mode record. Granted, not as dark as what we're going to be talking about today, but still amazing record. The record following Downward Spiral, The Fragile, mwah! It's amazing. If you've not listened to that, I highly recommend it. It may be a bit bloated considering that album is almost 2 hours long, but my God, it is freaking phenomenal.
I don't remember if I've listened to that one before.
Yeah, that one's really good. I highly recommend it. But who cares? We're not talking about that album today. We're talking about this one. I mentioned that my dad banned me from this album for the longest time, which, I mean, hey, I love you, Dad. Thank you, but you were hiding me from peak. I'm just being 100% honest with you. If you, I think I already mentioned this earlier, but if you don't know what this album is about, it is a concept album about a man's descent into madness, a downward spiral, if you will, that eventually leads into his breaking point, which ends up being suicide. Very dark, very intense, but my God, it is freaking phenomenal.
He really likes the word phenomenal.
I do love phenomenal. That's not going to be the last time I say phenomenal, by the way. I wrote phenomenal a lot.
Phenomenal counter.
Phenomenal counter. I'll put it on screen. I will say that word a lot. But anyway, before we dive into the songs, I might as well go give you a little backstory to this album because it's quite interesting. So Trent Reznor, he finished Pretty Hate Machine on a different label. He was working with TVT Records. TVT Records really wanted a more commercial sound compared to what Trent actually wanted. So after some conflicts, he left the record label, instead signed with, I think, Interscope Records, as well as he created his own label, Nothing Records, who would later sign other artists like Marilyn Manson. During the recording of this album, he also recorded an EP called the Broken EP, and that EP basically just gave us a taste of what he was wanting to achieve with his sophomore record, and with its like angry sound and with like it being dark as hell. Like, it was a taste to what's to come. Which, by the way, Broken, really great EP if you have not listened to it. And both EPs, he rented out the Manson murder house. He transformed it into his own little studio. And the reason why he rented out the Manson house to begin with was not because of him trying to stir controversy or anything, but mainly because he saw it as a historical landmark, which he would later on regret later in his life, considering he ran into one of the Manson murderer's sisters, I think, and she called him out for it, and he's like, maybe I was stupid. So I respect you for that. But yeah, the recording was hell. It was hell. Reznor was not in a very good spot at this time. He was doing a lot of coke. He had an addiction. He had depressive thoughts, suicidal ideation. But all of that led to the creation of this record, and it became shockingly Nine Inch Nails' biggest like breakthrough hit. I mean, Pretty Hate Machine was pretty popular, but Downward Spiral was when they were really getting like into the more commercial scene, while still retaining what Trent wanted to achieve with this project. And what do you know? It's spoiler alert. It's a masterpiece. So we might as well get started with the track list. Keep in mind, I wrote a bunch of notes. I locked in for this episode.
Really did.
I
got like a preview. It's this dude wrote scrolls. Okay,
I
scrolls
did.
on parchment on ink. It's ridiculous.
It took me.
He was really in a scriptorium.
It took me 3 hours altogether to to write my notes, and I listened to the album twice.
Nice.
Once on my cassette tape, because this cassette tape that I have was my dad's original copy. I think he got it in the 90s or around the time the record released. And I also listened to it digitally because, I mean, I gotta, just so I can fully grasp on its sound. But if you are able to, I honestly recommend listening to it in like the worst way possible, like cassette. Because from my experience, the tape was kind of like jacking up during some songs to the point where like it would sound muffled or it would just like stop entirely. It was very, very bizarre, and it honestly added to the experience. So I highly recommend that. But without further ado, let's get into the track list, starting with Mr. Self-Destruct. First off, lovely sample at the beginning from the movie THX 1138, which, if you don't know, is directed by George Lucas. The sample itself is basically a man getting beat by a prison guard, and with the way like it eventually like turns into this like violent burst, it's very appropriate for the record. Which, speaking of violent bursts, I love how it just starts, like no build up whatsoever. It's just
so
boom.
Good.
Yeah, it's one of a few jump scares we're gonna be having on this record, for me at least. Because when I first listened to the record, yeah, I jumped a bunch of times. So yeah, this is example one. I love it. That guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
freaking great. I love it. And Trent's delivery too. it's like for the first verse in particular.
Bro,
I
you're
love
gonna
how
be screaming all
it's-
episode. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to take my headphones off and cover my ears.
I'm
bro.
sorry. For the first, for like the first verse, like I love how he just delivers with in this very like calm tone. I am the voice inside your head. Very very great. And also, the chorus and the verses, it gives you a brilliant like grasp onto what's about to come, because we're introduced to our main character. Doesn't have a name. I'm just gonna call him like the narrator. And the narrator, not a very healthy guy. He is very like in the mind very messed up and very depressed. And for this song, he's singing about how he can't control anything in his mind due to the quote voice inside of his head, which is Mr. Self-Destruct. And later on, he also mentions how he doesn't want to, like, how he has issues with his faith in God and religion, and how, like, why believe in it when nothing's going to happen. And yeah, really great. Do you have anything to say? I don't want to.
I mean, listening to the song, I'm drawing a blank as I predicted last night. As soon as I'm looking at the words and talking about the song, I draw a blank. But I really like this one because it's like, you mentioned how it's like I guess a separation between Mr. Self-Destruct and the narrator himself, even though they are in the same person, in the same brain.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get into what I find it evocative of because then I have to. Oh my god, I can't get into it. I'll go insane.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I really like it. Cause like I guess with certain addictions or like mental illnesses, like mental illnesses like that the actions that they take, I'm being extremely vague, are essentially addictions. I've seen a lot of descriptions from people with select mental illness that I'm not naming, and they speak of like the separate thought process that they have from the condition that is, it's both distressing but also like very comforting when they're in the disorder mindset. And it encourages them to keep doing it, and that's something that just because it's a mental illness, it like always kind of exists there, and is like like if you have a Mr. Self-Destruct, then he's always there, and he's telling you, do this thing, do this thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Mr. Self-Destruct is pretty much in every single human if you think about it.
He's in a lot of human beings, very much, especially now because we're all making ourselves mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this song because it's like a warning, sort of.
It is.
Mr. Self-Destruct's calling out, and he's kind of warning you. He will drag you down.
Mm-hmm. Nothing can stop me now. Remember that.
I totally remember.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned like the whole like addiction theme, because in the bridge, which by the way, very great with how it's just like we get from this sudden noise to just near
really
silence.
good.
The lyrics are amazing, considering they tie, like, the lyrics tie in with like how our main character has a really like bad obsession with like drug use, sex, and later on suicide and the concept of death. And it's so good. And I also love how like but at the beginning with the sample, as soon as the bridge ends, it's just back.
Yeah.
Back to hell, essentially. And I also, on top of that, want to mention, I love how near the end of the song, Trent's vocals slowly fade out as the instrumental just fully takes over. Like, we are fully now in the mind of Mr. Self-Destruct.
Yeah.
It's really great. And even the ending, like the last like minute or so, is great too, with the lovely guitar distortion, I should say. And I also noticed with this listen, if you listen close enough, there is a little voice that you can hear in the background from, like, I'm assuming a robot, that says, "Here I am." Very hard to hear, but like if you hear close enough, like around I think the last 30 seconds, you'll hear just a little robot like say, "Here I am, here I which
Suppose
you
I
can,
didn't.
which it's buried. It's extremely buried.
That's very cool.
It's in my liner notes. And you can interpret that as Mr. Self-Destruct himself, which was really, really cool. But yeah, honestly, probably one of the best openings to an album ever. It sets you right in the mood. It tells you what you need to know. We're in for a hell of a ride, which follows us up with Piggy.
I love this song. I listen to this one all the time.
Piggy, for me, I love. Okay, spoiler alert. I love all these songs. Piggy is no exception. I especially love how it's such a different change of pace from the last song, because the last song was basically a manic episode, while this one is way more slow, way more calm. But it still has like that bit of like haunt in it.
Mhm.
I can't speak. Haunt. It has that bit of like that haunted feel to it, if that makes sense. The bass line too, really good. Lyrics wise, I interpret it as like this song about like a recent like breakup that the narrator had. And because of the mental state that he's currently in, he's not taking it well at all. Hence why he's calling her a pig. That's what I got from it. The drums also, I love how like overblown they are by like the last like, or like the midway, like the midsection of the song. It's very powerful, and they're kind of out of sync, but it fits with the song. Not to mention, again, the line, "Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care anymore." It's so good. I love it. And also, in the liner notes of the track, there is a unsung lyric at the very end that says, "You don't need me anymore." And my God, that's what I meant by like the whole like breakup thing. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm so like up at this rate. Like you don't need me anymore. You don't need to see me act this way.
Yeah.
Which I love. It adds
Um,
a bit of character to our lead.
I mean, you bring up how you think of it, and I think it's, oh my gosh, I'm not listening to my mic, am I? Sort of the same thing, where it's, oh my gosh, this freaking microphone. It's just like losing people already because of the the ways of acting out that could have absolutely come before the takeover of the Mr. Self-Destruct attitude, and then just spurred on harder, I suppose. 'Cause whenever you like go through certain things like this, I mean, outside of just being alone with the fact that you have it and the specific thoughts it comes with and the behaviors that are yours and usually are not socially acceptable to talk about to others, which means they're still only yours. Like not only are you living in the very isolated brain of somebody with really specific, addicted and disordered thoughts and actions, but then the actions like lead people to you push people away, people push away from you because of the way that you can begin acting whenever you're going through something like this.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So the kind of anger
Mm-hmm.
that the narrator here feels for the people he's already losing, like that. I can't snap, but I snapped. Thank you. And so it's kind of like an inspiration for the Mr. Self-Destruct attitude, I guess. Because now that he's already losing people, it's proof. The only thing he needs is the attitude and whatever it is, the addiction that comes with him. That's the thing that will keep him comfort and safe.
Exactly,
or
yeah.
so it seems.
I will delve into that later when we get there. There are songs just exactly about that, but don't want to spoil myself right now. But yeah, Piggy.
That's kind of notes that I have on a lot of this. It just, it's like, can this get worse? It gets worse.
It gets way worse. Spoilers.
It's not spoilers. You're supposed to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, Piggy. Amazing song. Brilliant follow-up to Mr. Self-Destruct, which leads us into one of my personal favorites on the album, honestly, Heresy. I love this song. I love how, like, absolutely demented this song can be at times, especially with not only the vocals but also the instrumental too. People back then thought that this song was basically like an atheist anthem, which, by the way, if you think that's still, you're stupid. This is not like trying to be like heavy atheism at all. Reznor actually, I have this written down, said this about the lyrics. I was trying to explore some of the paranoia I have as a sexually active person in the age of AIDS. I guess I feel cheated for not growing up in a more liberated era. At the same time, what gets me mad is the way the right wing has used the convenience of this epidemic to to promote their own agenda. And it's great that he mentions that, considering if you like delve into the lyrics, you notice that there are a lot of references to STDs, AIDS, all that stuff. That goes way more into depth later with the track Reptile, but we will get to that. The verse, like the first verse, is how the protagonist is trying to like find like religion, how he's trying to find help, but his answers, his prayers, if you will, they just go nowhere, which leads into the chorus, which I'll just yell it out. Headphone warning. God is dead and no one cares. That it's
How many more times do I have to do that?
just this one time.
Okay.
Yeah, it really like that chorus, you can like interpret that as like you like losing your faith and living in the mindset of what's the point of even praying anymore. And the chorus could even possibly be a reference to this philosophy by someone named Friedrich Nietzsche. I think that's how you say it. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. His philosophy back then was God is dead and we have killed him, which has been constantly, mind you, been misinterpreted over the years, as his opinion was that God is dead due to the advances of science and philosophy, and he wasn't trying to be like very like hardcore atheist about it, for lack of a better term. But of course, people are stupid, so they didn't see it as that. They just saw like, oh, we need religion, when his mindset wasn't that. He's like, we can have religion, but with how we're advancing as a society, like it feels like religion feels obsolete considering the amount of tech and knowledge we have right now. And bringing back the AIDS reference, verse 2 can be seen as the protagonist, or the narrator, I should say, not wanting to accept someone who has made so many like evil things for us, God, hence viruses. And even in the bridge, you can like you can hear like very like quietly, again, it's buried within the mix, burning with your God in humility, will you die for this? And you can interpret this as Trent saying that if you blindly follow a religion, you're basically just I can't say it.
Humiliating.
That yourself. But yeah, I love how aggressive this track is, especially since Piggy was more of a slower tune. Especially with that guitar, the I love it. I think it's a very, very amazing track. Jinx. You have anything to say about Heresy?
Not as much, honestly, because when I was listening to it, this was like the one song that I mostly blanked out because I kind of wasn't listening to the words. Yeah, I low-key wasn't thinking whenever I was listening to this one. I have the lyrics open right now as we speak. Yeah, I literally was not listening to the lyrics. I can't even lie.
That's okay.
I'm kind of a bummy reviewer.
I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, we're gonna be the next We're gonna be the next Anthony Fantano. We're gonna be the next.
My puking sounds aren't realistic enough. I'll have to practice.
It was great. Anyway, we might as well. Well, I mean, I pretty much like said everything I need to say about Heresy. Which then follows us with March of the Pigs. Fastest song on the album at 269 beats per minute. I think if I remember correctly, the drums are at 7/8.
Oh, yes.
They're on 7/8. I didn't write that down in my notes because I thought, oh god, I might be wrong. Turns out I'm right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This is my dad's favorite Nine Inch Nails song, I think. I'm gonna say yes, considering he loves the music video. The music video, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's one take of Trent Reznor and his live band. They're in like a studio, just like a little like white room, and they're going feral. Essentially, it's just a live performance, really, as a music video. And Trent like throws mic stands knock out. There are people of the crew giving them like their instruments and stuff. It's a really cool music video.
Cool.
Yeah. March of the Pigs. You can say that this song is about how our narrator has a desire to reveal his true self by ripping off his quote-unquote mask, and how he is very critical about society because the pigs, humans, are being fed slop through consumerism and are desperate for happiness in the form of materialism, with the pre-chorus amplifying this with the lines, I want a little bit, I want a piece of it, I think he's losing it, I want to let you come down. And they're like in the chorus, with all the pigs have all lined up, I can give you what you want. Like you can say like, oh, the pigs are so hungry for this new product or this new like consumerism that they want to like just drench themselves in. It's very cool. And I also want to mention the breakdown that happens in the chorus, where like the instrumental goes from like this live, like primal sounding like track to this more like heavy synth and electronic drum sound. I think that was awesome. And I love how at the very end with the line, now doesn't it make you feel better? The piano that's featured in that line. I love how you can say that that's symbolizing the sarcasm of his statement and the silence.
That major one chord.
Yeah, the major one chord, yeah. And that line repeats a couple of times in the song, and I especially love how after he says it the first time, we have this like silence for like 3 seconds, and then like shit hits the fan again. I love it. And at the very end, you could say, well, he says, the pigs have won tonight. Their consumerism has been fed. We will see you next time. Essentially, it's like a virtuous cycle in a way. I love it. It's very energetic too, which this is like a perfect song like you would listen to whenever you're like pissed or like want to break something. Honestly, I'm a huge fan.
But I think, this song and Heresy, because the first two, we were more directly, speaking of the disorders at hand, and then we've got these two songs. Now we've got some reasons at hand, the things that happen around everybody and the people who realize what exactly they're living in, and how that affects you. You bringing up the capitalism thing, honestly.
Consumerism.
It's kind of the same difference to me in this sort of context. I can't get into it. I don't know. I guess things like this can really be a response to the way luckier human beings treat slightly less lucky human beings, treat much less lucky human beings, treat the worst, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And, being in a system that isn't actually made for animals. You up, there's, the attitude that is presently being represented by this Mr. Self-Destruct that kind of pulls up in the brains of human beings. Dude, it's so interesting. Oh my God. I need to stop talking about addiction. I'm going to get into the 90s and diet culture, dog. Stop.
It'll appease that one adult that listens to this podcast.
I can't get into it. I can't get into it.
I can't get into it. I don't.
But there's so much that just happens
in 3 minutes too. 3 minutes.
And then we get to Closer. We're back. We're really back in business. Bro, you cut that out. You sound like SpongeBob.
I'm keeping it in. Screw you.
Okay.
Closer. Everybody knows the song.
Oh my god, I loved this song as a kid. This is one of my favorite
As a
songs.
kid, that's
Yes,
funny.
I listened when I was 7 years old.
Oh my
I was listening
God.
to the local like rock station, one of them.
Okay, the
And-
censored cut.
Yes.
Yeah,
maybe.
radio edit.
Yeah, a radio edit, and they put the song on. Oh my god, I loved it. I was so happy every time it came on. I
Wow.
always thought the bass sounded like the largest paint selection whenever you're painting in Tux Paint. If anybody knows this
I do.
niche application.
I know what you're talking about.
Wait, did you use that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
When I was like 9 years old,
Yeah.
I did.
So you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I see what you're talking about.
That was like my first thought, so now that's just all I think about. But it's oh my god, it's such a good song.
Yeah, closer. I think I have heard this song in the past before I listened to the full album. Because during my first listen, I was like, have I heard this before? Turns out I have. It was on the radio. And it's funny that you mentioned the radio edit because this was one story time, brief one. During the summer, I was out swimming in my pool and I had the local like rock station on. I'm not gonna say because locations. I want to remain anonymous.
Yeah, look at you.
I had the local rock station on. We have a couple here, but I put on the 90s and like 2000s rock because classic rock, it's overplayed.
Yeah.
They played Closer, the radio edit, and my dad was outside, and I was honestly scared that like he'll like look at me, be like, "Why are you listening to the Downward Spiral when you're swimming and having a good time?" That didn't happen.
It's a groove.
Yeah, that didn't happen, obviously. But like, I listened to the radio edit, and keep in mind, the song in itself is 6 minutes. They trimmed it down to 4. The radio edit, it sounds weird. Not just because of it being censored or anything, but because like, I don't know how to describe it. Radio edits, I just don't like them. I don't like radio edits, especially when it comes to 6 minute songs. But Closer. I feel like I said, everybody knows the song, so I won't necessarily like go deep within it. But what I wrote, for the production, it samples the drums from Night Clubbing by Iggy Pop. The Iggy Pop influence. I should have mentioned this while we were like doing the introduction, but like this record's heavily inspired by like Iggy Pop, David Bowie, a bunch of like classic concept albums. I think The Wall too was an influence, which I mean, yeah, you didn't see that, but she did a funny face. She did the tongue thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so production wise it's really great, especially with that that hook, the bump bump, but what I was doing like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Very catchy, it's very infectious. I can see why people see this as a for lack of a better term, a bouncing stripper anthem.
That was really great. Thank you. Wow.
But
oh my god, this mic.
people see it as that when really the lyrics are the exact opposite of what you're talking about. The protagonist or the narrator, he loves his self-loathing and he portrays this through his sexual desires. But the lyrics themselves aren't necessarily about the lust. Rather, it's about how he thinks sex is something that could fuel his like self-violation and discrimination of his own mind. And you can even see this in the pre-chorus where like you can see his real personality crying for help me, that and even the line I want to you like an animal, you could say like that has a double meaning too, as one you can say it as like how an animal is seen as a metaphor for like his intense desires, and the other one, sex, obviously. My whole existence is flawed. You get me closer to God. You can say that means his suicidal tendencies are literally making him closer to God. He is on the edge. And this gets amplified more with the second verse where he says that like where like he alludes to like him getting rid of everything, and a ton of suicidal like people, usually before they die, they get rid of a lot of their personal belongings, which is a clear sign of like everything is close to the end. and I wrote this from Genius, or I stole this from Genius, I should say. Our protagonist has become so self-loathing and empty that they can only feel emotions and find joy through women through sex. Ouch. But anyway, yeah, funky bass, catchy hook. I can see why this is one of Trent's most popular songs, even if a song like this is kind of shocking to see be so popular considering its lyrics. It's often misinterpreted as a sex anthem. It is not. If you still think that, you are stupid, just saying. And one last thing I want to mention, the music video. The music video, it's really good. There's one shot. The music video I should mention. It has this very industrial, like 1940s look to it, and the camera and the quality of the video sucks ass too, because I think they filmed it on a very old like film reel camera. A very cool music video. They have a monkey that's like crucified. That was very creepy. A lot of naked people, businessmen, and there's one shot in particular that I want to mention. It's of Trent like spinning in the air in this very like specific pose. I don't know how the hell they did that, especially since it was so smooth. But God, it's honestly one of the best music videos ever made, in my opinion.
I think the authorial intent is extremely important, and I think what you got into is most definitely what is more correct, where sex becomes involved like this in a person's life. This microphone, oh my God. I've been swearing a lot. Wow. What was I saying? Genuine question?
How he views sex, like how this is like a self-loathing.
Yeah, it becomes like this really specific aspect of his life, because other things, I'm slightly getting into it, because whenever you're going down a addiction and disorders and such, as it like becomes more of the normal thing, the state of your mind, and continuing the self-destruction and such. Oh my God, who is that guy? Oh my God, where'd my thought process go? My train of thought's been falling off the canyon. This is strangely relevant, the brain damage that I'm having. Wow. Oh yeah, okay, because he gets isolated, and so going down the addictions and the disorders and stuff, losing the sort of emotional capacity that you had before for any reason, because your brain just runs out of the energy to be able to do that. And so I suppose in this case, sex is replacing this, and is also part of the kind of the self-hatred. You explained it so much more better. And that was kind of the authorial intent thing I was getting into. You're gonna have to cut the holy crap out of that. But whenever before when I would listen to the song, and so I wouldn't dig into the lyrics so much. I guess my thought was a little like on its head, where it was using sex as the specific metaphor, like sex and lust, even though it's sort of not the case, as the feelings that the person has for the way that the addiction or the disorder makes them feel when the feelings of the disorder being able to sort of be comforting is at its highest. Like, you are most entrenched in the mindset in the most disordered, ideally way possible, if this makes any sense at all. And so being in that mental state and just chasing after that really good, feeling, if it's the high or the, whatchamacallit that happens whenever you treat your body like shit. Just going after that and going crazy for it. But I think you're absolutely the correct one here. And that's, hey, you dropped something.
I dropped the cassette.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
That took me,
Anyway,
oh my God.
It's all right.
That was 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's all right. One last thing I want to mention. Closer. Yeah. I looked at my Apple Music stats. It is currently the most listened to song I've listened to all year. So,
yeah, that's what's up.
Oops. Anyway, perfect transition into the song Ruiner.
Yeah.
I love Ruiner. I'm just going to read all my notes. Verse 1, you can see this as the narrator talking to God. Why does he believe everyone's lies, and why are you on everyone's side? The pre-chorus features this ruiner pretty much, the narrator's mind again, Mr. Self-Destruct. And the chorus, I would like to mention, you can see this as a lot of metaphors and a lot of innuendos. For one, how'd you get so big? How'd you get so strong? How'd you get so hard? How'd you get so long? For one, you can see that as a big metaphor for a penis. And two, you can see that as a metaphor for someone who is actively, again, controlling the narrator's life. Like, how did this depression get so big? How can I treat this? How can I, fight this, And the interlude in the middle of the track, too, it's very creepy, but it's honestly also very relaxing for a little bit of it, because it has this, 70s rock kind of vibe with the guitar and just the overall, muffled drums. It sounds very, very cool, only for it to just immediately get punched out of the mix once the guitar fully sets in. It's scary, it's weird, but it fits perfect with the track. And the ending where Trent constantly says, you didn't hurt me, nothing can hurt me, you didn't hurt me, nothing can stop me now. You can say that this is the narrator in a state of denial, oh shit, this is not gonna go well. Spoilers, it won't. And one final thing I'll mention, I love how it just cuts, sudden, as soon as it gets cut off, mid-sentence, it's just silence for 3 seconds. It's oh shit, I love it. Production-wise, very phenomenal. I can't remember from the top of my head what specific production choices stood out for me. One thing I will say though is I love how aggressive Trent delivers his pre-chorus. I'm not gonna say the lines, but if you know, you know. But Ruiner, really great track.
I think because this one for me is sort of this song for me is kind of, it's just in between, Closer and The Becoming. I love The Becoming. It's a great song. But it's, more and more, and I'm becoming the broken record at this point, where the mindset of the disorder of the addiction closes around you as you become more entrenched in it, and it becomes the only thing you have left. And so I think you mentioned that, how'd you get so big, how'd you get so strong, how'd you get so hard, how'd you get so long? I like those lines, they're great. But it just, the sort of realization at some point that it is actually more than you can handle to deal with, not only having already been depressed and all the comorbidities that came before the disorder of the addiction, but then the addiction itself is suddenly monumental. Wow. But I didn't have as much whenever I was thinking on it, because when I was thinking on it, that was most of my thought process. And you didn't hurt me, nothing can hurt me, you didn't hurt me, nothing can stop me now. It's sort of the everything else, and even the pressures of the disorder, all the weight can still be sort of pushed off for now because of the still slight comforting presence of the part of the disorder that the disordered brain still wants to hold on to, which is also what keeps it going for so long. The Becoming, I love this song so much.
I love The Becoming. The piano. I know how to play that on piano, actually. It's really
I don't
easy
like
to
how the
play.
piano sounds as much. I like it whenever it actually gets into the drop of the machines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh
my God.
I love the sample. Bless you. I love the sample at the beginning with all the screaming, which, by the way, I found out is a sample from a movie called Robot Jocks from 1989. I have not seen that movie. But I love how lyrics-wise the song is about how the narrator is transforming from a man to this machine, someone or something I should say, that is unable to feel real emotions.
I really like that they make him a machine because now it's a daily thing, a constant routine that is forever perpetuating the addiction that is all the person has left.
Yeah. I love how they describe it too. The me that you know who had some second thoughts, he's covered with scabs, he is broken and sore. The me that you know doesn't come around much, that part of me isn't here anymore.
So, oh my god, it's
yeah,
so good.
the OG narrator, like his original state of mind, he is gone forever at this rate. And the post chorus, it hints. By the post chorus, great guitar by the way, a great acoustic performance. It hints at like the narrator wanting to get better, but since the machine is fully like taking over his body or mind, he's not in control anymore. So it's impossible at this rate. And I also caught a fourth wall break during the acoustic post-chorus bridge. It mentions a woman named Annie. Annie is not someone that the narrator knows per se. It's a reference to someone Trent knew at the time, a close friend who worked as a A&R for Atlantic Records. So I found that really cool. The line in particular, if I can find it,
Annie, hold a little tighter. I might just slip away.
Yeah, Annie, hold a little tighter. I might just slip away. And that abruptly cuts to everything just hitting the fan, essentially, with like the robot noises and with the drums and everything, which all leads to the last lines. It won't give up. It wants me dead. God damn this noise inside my head. Basically, a look at addiction. His depression's fully taking over. And that all wraps up with the acoustic guitar coming back, which sounds very pretty.
I really love the amount of these songs that have a repeating thing at the very end of the song.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things that you said are kind of just my thoughts on it. I kind of don't have much more to say just because I've been repeating myself so much. The closing in more and more, and how it goes from something you have to something you are in the mindset. Just how much it becomes imprinted on your brain whenever you're actually dealing with the disorder of the addiction. The blood has stopped pumping and he's left to decay is a really good line, by the way. I love that.
I missed that line. Hold on.
That's my favorite line in the song.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the becoming, I suppose.
Becoming.
I do not want this.
I do not want this. I love this song. I mean, I love all these songs, but I mean, this one's also like one of my personal favorites. The depression has taken over. The protagonist wants out of the ride, but he can't do anything about it. It's now just a constant battle. And I noticed that in verse 1, he's trying to like paint himself as someone like claiming to be a victim. You know how this world can beat you down. I'm losing ground. And he also mentions that like how he's made of clay and how it can easily be changed emotion wise. And the interlude in the track too seems to like confirm that our narrator has repeated a bunch of mistakes, and that's what like causes him to keep sinking and sinking and sinking into this downward spiral. And this is also the point where the narrator is now seen like as completely nihilistic. He is calm like 1 minute, like in any of the verses in pre-chorus. By the way, it's a great performance from Reznor, before out of nowhere just turning violent and full of rage in the chorus. Don't you tell me how I feel. That, which I love. I would have screamed it, but I like my throat today. Verse 2 also delved deeper within the nihilism by how he says that no one really cares about him. And one cool thing I noticed was that in the other interlude for the track, his nihilistic side is trying to convince the normal side of his mind to just kind of go in already. Let me fully take control of you. And it all ends with his normal side saying, oh, maybe this isolation I'm facing is like a cry for help after all. Everyone who was trying to help me was right. I fucked up, but it's too late now, because once the outro hits, I want to know everything. I want to be everywhere. I want to everyone in the world. I want to do something that matters. We've finally reached the point of the record where the normal, like, mentally stable side of the narrator is fully gone. We are full on nihilistic right now. He's lost control, and from now on, for the rest of the record, we're going to be fully drenched in the destructive and delusional side of the narrator. No going back. I also love the drums. The drums are really cool.
I think I'm hitting my point in recording where all my thoughts are just the same ones that you had, because I cannot come up with any more. Yeah, a lot of these, it's a really good poem. This song is just a good poem. Big Man with a Big Gun. I like this one.
Yeah, I really like this one. Shortest song in the album. This song is apparently a satire on gangster rap at the time. Hear me out. Which, weirdly enough, some conservatives at the time were actually calling this song in particular gangster rap, which was really funny.
I remember this. I remember hearing about this.
Basically, Trent, like, was pissed off at, like, I think the music scene at the time, or, like, the rise in popularity of rap, so he just made a track making fun of that.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah. But that's just, like, if we don't take the concept into consideration. The concept itself, the song, is about madness. I love the sample at the very beginning of the song. As soon as the song starts, we have that sample, which, in SFW, I guess, is a audio recording of a porn star having an orgasm, albeit with, like, in post, to where, like, you can barely even, like, tell what the sound actually is. It's like this person's crying for help and whatnot. Tommy Lee of Motley Crue gave Trent Reznor that sample, and in the liner notes, the sample is called Steakhouse, which is really funny. But yeah, lyrics-wise, the narrator, fully uncontrollable again. He loves to torture, like, innocent people now with his quote-unquote gun antics, and you can interpret this in one of two ways. You can interpret it as either him actually, like, messing with people with a real gun, or you can make this a giant innuendo, because there are a lot of innuendos here. Sucking guns, a big penis, hard as steel, I'm gonna come all over you, shoot, shoot, shoot. You can interpret, like, that last section as, like, his, like, gun, you know, being his gun, you know? Very short, very sweet, great song. I really like Big Man with a Gun.
I think this one is really cool. And so I think the both the big gun and the big are both just this guy's newfound, because he's kind of let go of his cares. So he has the newfound capacity to be unbelievably, ridiculously, terribly violent, because if anything will make you feel, then anything will make you feel. And so this is kind of the most intense point where he's so far gone that he can bring himself to do all kinds of terrible things to other people, and he hurts other people, and people he knows and people he doesn't know, and so he's just this rampage of his mind where this is the thing that makes him feel, and so this is what he's doing right now, and it just keeps going and going and gets real intense. Me and my gun, my gun. Mm-hmm. And then a warm place.
A warm place.
A warm place. A very wonderful little instrumental.
This is one of my favorites, honestly.
It's really nice, and I like that it comes right after, Big Man with a Gun.
Yeah, it's a very it's a very beautiful instrumental. And concept-wise, you can say that, like, you can see it as, like, the narrator regaining control of his mental state for just a little brief moment, a bit of a calm before the storm, which is accurate considering the next song we're talking about. There's a line you can barely hear in the very beginning. It's a line called, that's a line that follows as, "The best thing about life is knowing you put it together." Again, barely hear it. It's buried within the mix. But holy shit, like, it is very powerful.
Whoa. Yeah. And say, "Aw."
It's a tenet for existentialism, and I love it. But yeah, overall, I mean, the production, this is a good like, ambient track, and it's a good, like, precursor to what Trent would later do in his career with, like, some of the songs in the Fragile and his Ghosts series. It's a very beautiful track. I love it.
I really like where this one is in the album, because after the explosion that was Big Man with a gun, now we have the smoke rising. He doesn't have the the energy to keep being the big man with the big gun. But so that leaves the space for him to either this is the greatest, a return to the first high of any given disorder, but also sort of like the memory of being mentally better and the things that were legitimately, sincerely comforting and fulfilling as a person. And it's just kind of this like it's a reminder of things that aren't just the terrible nastiness of disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that little just for a minute, and then we're on to reptile, or I'm sorry, not reptile.
Not reptile.
It's
Eraser.
I have the thing open, and my thing is green.
Oh.
I ain't green enough is all.
Eraser.
But yes, they have the sounds as it goes into Eraser because well, guess who's back?
Guess who's back? Perfect transition. I love it. For the first half of the song, it's a very haunting instrumental. I love how like the song starts with like the sound of the eraser as well as like some flies buzzing around. It's very haunting. And not to mention like the instrumental itself before we get into lyrics, which I think lasts like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, I think. Very distorted, the drums in particular, like they sound like they're coming from like across the room. I don't know how to describe it. It's very creepy, and when we get to lyrics, doesn't help much either. For lyrics, I interpreted this as like the protagonist wanting to like get back with like his ex-lover from Piggy because of the lines "need you, you, dream you, find you." He wants her back in the sense that like he will do the same thing that she did to him, use you, scar you, break you, and that again, another jump scare in this track, leads into this very violent performance from Trent. Mr. Self-Destruct's back. Use me, hate me, or lose me, hate me, smash me, erase me, and then kill me, kill me, kill me, over and over and over again. This is the first explicit reference to suicide in this album. And I also love how Trent's voice slowly dissolves into the synths.
That was so...
Yeah. You can also... I caught this, too. When the synths start showing up, once his voice gets all jacked up and stuff, he doesn't say kill me anymore. He says help me. Help me.
Oh.
Help me. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Bro. Oh, don't play games with me.
Yeah. Eraser. Love Eraser.
My favorite thing about this little track is how simple the words are through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough energy to spend on full sentences at this point.
Yeah.
This gets the point across. Okay, reptile, whatever.
Reptile. My personal favorite song on the album, since this is basically what this whole album was leading up to, theming-wise. Opening, very peaceful, kinda. I guess technically if you want to call it peaceful, until, again, boom, jump scare, which by the way, every time I listen to the song, that drop, it scares the hell out of me every single time. But yeah, Self-Destruct's back. I noticed like there's a gun that's getting loaded too. That might come back in later. Verse 1. I like how this song brings back the themes that like were in Closer. Basically, the lover, I guess, is back, and the narrator doesn't know if like he should like feel repulsed or intrigued by this, but either way, sex to him is pretty much all that matters. And the line, "Oh my beautiful liar, oh my precious whore," sex at this rate is now just a temporary release, and the narrator knows this, but he keeps going because that's now
it's
the only thing
one.
that's keeping him like comforted. And verse 2 also brings back the themes from Heresy, where back then he didn't like the concept of praying because it wouldn't work. But this time he's now comparing himself and his lover to quotes devils and angels. They're both being lauded as such as devils, but they're being admonished by angels. He hurts people by getting intimate, and she hurts by just existing in his presence. My favorite line in the song, need to contaminate to alleviate this loneliness. Yeah, he's up. He's up now. Only this time with someone. Depths are limitless. Rock bottom does not exist. It's all just a downward spiral. And two more things I want to mention. The interlude that's in the track. It samples a scene from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is really dope. And at the very end, when he does his final, oh, my beautiful liar, oh, my precious horror, my disease, my infection, I am so impure, you can hear something in the right channel where it's a muffled voice from Trent. He says, God damn it, let me go. No, 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 over and over again before the song ends.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Goddamn. I mean, all of your thoughts that you've had on this one are exactly the ones I had whenever I was like listening to it. So I'm just listening to you right now.
Whoa, great minds think alike.
Oh my God, we're
Yeah.
just a bunch of geniuses.
Yeah, we're almost done with the album. We got 2 more tracks left. Next one is the title track.
I love this song. Oh my God, I was listening to this all the time.
Oh my God, are you all right?
Yes, this song is just good. It's a really good song.
I mean, I agree. It's really good, but yeah. The intro samples the opening credits of the movie Alien with this like amazing guitar in the background too, and some like breathing that I noticed too. That's deep into the mix. The song itself, it's this haunting like spoken word verse that Trent gives. I'll just read the whole thing out loud. He couldn't believe how easy it was. He put the gun into his face. Bang. So much blood for such a tiny little hole. Problems have solutions. A lifetime of things up fixed in one. Determined flash. Everything's blue in this world. The deepest shade of mushroom blue. All fuzzy. Spilling out of my head. If you couldn't already tell, this song is basically his breaking point. He kills himself. The gun, bam. The screaming too that you hear, muffled.
That part of the song,
It's so heartbreaking.
the way, oh my God, it's so well produced. I'm shooting my pants.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking, and I don't really know. This song kind of messed me up when I first listened to this album.
Oh, yeah?
It was not a pleasant listen. I mean, this album's not a pleasant listen. Don't get me wrong, but
You serious? I love this album. It's
well,
a great
no,
listen.
don't get me wrong. I love this album.
No,
but
I
it's,
know, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Well, it's an unpleasant listen for you. It's a great listen for me.
Yeah.
I like this one.
But the downward spiral, the track, the screaming and the instrumental that's muffled, it's terrifying. And the line that I mentioned earlier, problems have solutions, you know? Oh, which by the way isn't even in the song. It's again in the liner notes. Oh my God, very dark line. And the everything is blue can represent sadness line. Again, can represent sadness. And it's all fuzzy. He's dead. So yeah, amazing track. But we're not finished yet. We have one more. We got the, I guess, big track, if you want to call it that, the most popular. I don't really know. This one has a little weird. Hurt.
This is one that I surprisingly had very little thoughts on. Like the whole time I was listening to it, I was just like, okay, what?
It's
Well,
okay.
yeah, okay.
I don't really have much to say about this one either.
I quite like how it ends the album.
Yeah.
The ending of it's really great.
Mm-hmm.
But
like most people, I did not know that this was a 9 Inch Nails song. I thought this was a Johnny Cash original. Yeah.
that's, you know what, fire.
Yeah. Well, the Johnny Cash version's really great. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably already do.
Oh, that's the one I've heard.
Yeah, you know,
That's where I
that's the most
recognize it from.
popular one.
Really?
Everybody knows it as the Johnny Cash song and not the 9 Inch Nails song, which, by the way, funny story that relates to this. Not with me, but with Trent. Apparently, Johnny Cash, this was his final record, by the way. He wanted to cover the song. Trent said no. But But they filmed the music video first, which was oddly enough directed by the same guy who did the Closer music video. And the music video for Johnny Cash's rendition of Hurt, where he's like reminiscing on his life and stuff, which by the way recontextualizes the whole song. It made Trent Reznor like cry, and it got to the point where it's like he he felt like his song was taken away from him. His girlfriend left him, you know? It's not Hurt is not Trent's song anymore, really. It's Johnny's, because both versions have different like interpretations. Johnny's version is more or less like him reflecting on his life and like his like struggles, while obviously for the context of this version that we're talking about is the aftermath. But both versions are really great. I just am pissed off on myself for not knowing that this was not a Johnny Cash original. Oops. Oh well. But anyway, I love how fuzzy this song sounds with like with the production. It sounds really
It's falling apart.
great. It's all falling apart. There you go. You can interpret this song in a couple of ways. For one, and my interpretation is that this whole song is a suicide note. But you can also see this as a failed attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both are really powerful. Like, there's no wrong way of thinking like what the meaning of the song is. It's just, in my opinion, I see it as more of like a suicide note. Because I mean, if the Downward Spiral was him shooting himself in the face, then this is the aftermath. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The rest of my notes aren't really like anything noteworthy. Well, my notes aren't noteworthy. I wrote, he did this to himself. Suicide is not the answer. In the end, suicide will make everyone angry, and the protagonist just regrets that. And the outro I want to mention, if he were to start again a million miles away, I would keep myself, I would find a way. He's like, the narrator, he's like, if I had the ability to, I'd restart everything, but I would also like stay away from everyone and like all of the influences around him, but it's too little too late. That's really all for the lyrics. Last things I gotta mention for this song is that the drums by Chris Vrenna, not Alan Mortar like I thought. He's mixing engineer. They sound really great. They have that punch, which I'm really huge on. And when Trent delivers I Would Find a Way, I love how, like, again, jump scare, the instrumental just like gets louder, and we get that distorted outro for like a minute and a half, and that just kind of lingers on until we reach the end. Bless you.
Thank you.
And that, my friends,
It's the Downward Spiral.
is the Downward Spiral.
I love this album. So good.
This record is a very interesting one for me because, again, my dad forbid me from listening to this for the longest time, and it wasn't until like March of this year where I became a rebel and I listened to it in secret. This album, I won't lie to you, it did mess me up for a little bit. It kind of did kickstart a bit of a depressive mood for like at least a week, but it's not the album's fault really. This album is dark. It's very tragic. It's a warning, and but it's a very good warning at that. This album is phenomenal. Every track has a good place like on this record. None of the tracks feel like just like a track to just throw on because why not? No, they all have a purpose. I love Trent's production. I love the writing. Trent is very smart when it comes to like his like production skills, and this is one of the most unique like industrial like rock albums ever. Even like albums after Downward Spiral, they just did not reach like this amount of like craziness as like this record. But Downward Spiral, I love this album, though this is an album I usually do not ever go back to. I listened to it twice for this episode. I'm probably not going to listen to it again in full for a while. outside of maybe the hits like March of the Pigs, Closer, all that stuff. But my God, phenomenal again album. I love it. I can see why my dad was huge on Nine Inch Nails for the longest time. It still is. I think personally it's one of the best rock albums of all time, and it's honestly maybe the best album of the whole 1990s, which is why I'm going to give it 10 out of 10.
Yay!
Yay. You got anything to say?
I don't know, not quite. Not for the recordings.
Not for the recordings?
Nah.
Okay. Well, my friends, this might be the longest episode we've ever recorded, so we might as well just end it here. Thank you for listening if you're still around. We will not be back next week. We got some stuff going on. At least I have stuff going on, so we'll be back in 2 weeks for the next episode. I don't know what album we're going to be talking about specifically, but I'm going to try and bring in a pretty special guest. Something new, something fresh.
I think I know who it is.
I think you know who it is. But
Yep.
Thank you, Basement Dweller, for talking about Nine Inch Nails with me. You were the greatest co-host ever.
Oh, you flatter me.
Yeah. I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm tired.
Okay.
I got to export this.
Yeah,
goodbye. See ya.
You're gonna stop talking.
I am.
Sorry. I was gonna say, because you were talking, if you're still here, thanks for breathing, by the way. I think it's really cool that you're listening to this and you're alive. Thanks.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for staying alive, by the way. Thank you. You deserve a place in this world.
There is more time.
There is more time. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Stop recording.
Your music has been manicked. Thank you for participating. Until next time.